Reporters, and welcome back to my channel. By now you probably saw the video of Simone Biles's hating ass husband, Mr. Simone Owens, going on that podcast. And when the host asked him how he begged Simone Biles, the one of the most decorated Olympians of all time, one of the greatest gymnasts of all time, greatest athletes of all time, and instead of just praising and loving on his wife publicly, Jonathan said that he was the prize and Simone was lucky to get with him. And not only that, but Simone was practically desperate to get with him. And he kept putting off meeting her. He also said that, he put off messaging her. And he also said that he probably never would have messaged her first. So it's a good thing that she messaged him because he wasn't about to do it. He also claimed to not know who Simone was. And when pressed about it, he claimed on his Twitter account that it was because he doesn't watch gymnastics. And you know what is so funny? Simone took to her Twitter account to like tweets supporting this hater, this op that she is living and sleeping with. So let me show you one of these tweets that Simone liked that really pissed me off because guess what? Her husband has been exposed. He is truly a hater. But let's take a look at what Simone has been liking in support of this dusty ass man. First of all, up on the top, you can very clearly see. Here you go. Up in the top, you can clearly see that this is Simone Biles's Twitter account, and these are her likes. Okay, so she's liking people who are in support of her man, basically dragging her on that podcast. But here at the very bottom of the screen, by a user who has the username The Alchemist, he tweeted, "Most people don't watch gymnastics. I'm sorry, but it really hurts my heart that someone as accomplished and incredible as Simone Biles is willing to talk down on herself and her sport to uplift her husband, who literally is an op." You know, most people don't watch gymnastics. That's crazy. Gymnastics is a huge sport. It is one of the most beloved sports of the Olympics. So to go and say that just to defend this man for refusing to compliment you and accept that you were a catch is just shocking to me. So that was his excuse. He claimed he didn't know who Simone Biles was because he didn't watch gymnastics. Well, lo and behold, the internet never forgets. Simone Biles' husband, you forgot to delete an old tweet of yours in which, Exhibit A, as I pull it up, you tweeted in 2012, and shout out to Sick and Tired on Twitter for pulling this up, but you tweeted in 2012, and I quote, "Low key, I be hoping that the people from the other nations fall when they be doing gymnastics. LOL." So how would you know if people fall or not if you don't watch gymnastics, Jonathan? Um, why? And why would you be emotionally invested if this is not something you enjoy watching or something that you invest in watching, Jonathan? So there you go, you guys. This man watches gymnastics. He knows what the gymnastics, he knows about gymnastics, okay? It's just crazy to me that he went on there and in order to avoid agreeing with these people. The podcast hosts were awesome. They were saying, "Dude, you scored with this woman. She is one of the greatest athletes of all time." They said she has no competition. Her biggest competition is herself. And you couldn't even sit there and agree with them about your wife. And not only that, but they also said, that Simone is she is the greatest gymnast and he will never be like the greatest football player or the greatest whatever. What is he, a supporting or a tackle or whatever it is that he does? Oh, it's called a safety. And instead of agreeing, because it is the truth, no one knows his name for a reason. It's because he's not the best in his field. And that is a quantifiable fact. And his ego is just so big that instead of accepting that and saying, "Yeah, you know what? I am stunned by this woman and her athletic prowess, her talent, and her ability to still remain humble in the face of all of that." He says, "I don't know about that. I don't know about that." Just another way to downplay this accomplished, incredible, bright star who shines way too bright for him. I don't know. I don't watch gymnastics. I don't know who Simone Biles is. Well, what is this, Mr. Simone Biles? What is this? you cheering for the US team at the gymnastics in the Olympics in 2012. Okay, you know who Simone Biles is. I think it was just 4 years later when she started really, like, sweeping everything at the Olympics. And you don't even have to watch this stuff. I keep saying, I don't really watch gymnastics myself. Okay, when I watch the Olympics, I'm mainly watching for track and field. I'm Kenyan. Okay, I love watching my people dominate in long distance, right? I love watching the Americans and Jamaicans do the short distances. I love watching hurdles. I love watching relay race. I love watching handball. I watch a little bit of volleyball here and there too. So, like, this stuff. I don't know anything about swimming. I can't swim. I drown when I look at water, but I know who Michael Phelps is. I know who Ryan Felipe, or whatever, however you pronounce that, is. Because these people were dominating at the Olympics. I think in 2012 it was Ryan Felipe who like won over Michael Phelps in like this shocking upset. But like they were the two that were being talked about constantly. When you dominate the Olympics, you get spoken about at such a crazy volume. You cover all of these magazines. Look, so people who don't watch your sport or anything like that are still aware of you. So there's no reason why a man who sits there and watches the Olympic Games, such as Jonathan writes about watching the Olympic Games, would, and especially gymnastics, would not know about Simone Biles. He's pretending. Okay. And this is exactly what people on the internet were saying. We didn't need to see these tweets to know he was lying. We didn't need to see this tweet to know that this man felt his ego got bruised when they asked him how he begged Simone. Maybe he's in a competition with her in his mind, but I'm sorry, you already lost. Simone is the greatest in her field, and you're a no name in yours. And that's not even to be mean. That is the cold, hard truth, right? And so he knows this. And instead of just hyping up his wife the way Russell Wilson would hype up Sierra, the way George Clooney hypes up Amal Clooney, he decided to say, you know what? She was desperate for me. We matched, but I didn't message her. I saw she was liking my Instagram pages, but I still didn't message her on the app. She messaged me on the app and I still didn't respond. I had to go take a shower first. That was more important. Right. And then he says, oh, and she had to drive 45 minutes to me for our first date. I couldn't be bothered to go to her. He just kept going and going and going. The podcast hosts tried to give him an out. They said, dude, do you know what this sounds like? It sounds like you're saying you barely like this woman. He said, no, it's not that. It's just XYZ. And he goes into more, BS explanations and doesn't even say a single thing about loving this woman. I didn't hear him say the word love. I didn't hear him say the word like, admire, awe, nothing. He just compared himself to this woman and he tried to up himself on the back of this woman. And it's crazy to me. It really, really is. Listen, like I said in my first video, mark my words, this is a starter husband. This man, in his own mind, is in competition with this woman, even though there is no competition between the two of them. And there shouldn't be. They don't even play the same sport. It's not like she's with Tom Brady, right? Like the top football player. She's with whoever this guy is. I don't remember his name. But in his head, he's in competition with her. He hates that when they go out, Simone's the one recognized, even though he's in the NFL. And and NFL players, how egotistical they are. They go broke spending all this money on women and whatnot, right? Because they're just so they're so empty on the inside that they need to do this sort of thing. No, there's a lot of contempt in there. There's a lot of resentment in there for his wife. And for what? What did Simone do besides be talented? That's the problem. Anyway, there you go, you guys. Proof. And I want to give a shout out to one of my Instagram followers, actually, because I was about to go to bed after I filmed that last video about Janelle Evans. But then someone sent me this video. It's Ariel S. Ariel, thank you so much for sending me this. She sent me the screenshot. And I was like, oh, Lord have mercy. What a mess. There you go. Caught in 4K. This you. And shout out to you, Kamina, for putting this up there as well, because the world needs to see this. This is what being jealous of your wife looks like. This is what hating on your wife looks like. This is what sleeping with the enemy looks like. I'm sorry, Simone, but you liking all these things in defense of this man, even this tweet saying most people don't watch gymnastics, as if it's not a major sport watched by millions of people, to defend this guy who secretly hates you. Whew. Go ahead and unlike that real quick for me, baby, because that is not a good look. Your own man watches gymnastics, and he admitted to it back in 2012. He watches gymnastics. He knows who you are, and he's jealous of who you are. That's all for now, you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.